Now then, this road Pall Mall. We're going to drive through Trafalgar Square. I believe you've had a glimpse of it. If we went left, it would be Piccadilly. Here's a bus getting ready for football ahead of us, no doubt. It'll just go slow for a little bit here. We'll go through Trafalgar Square. We'll join a road called... That's well done. Maybe Banksy's around.
Yeah.
But we're coming into Trafalgar Square. I think you've seen it. We'll pass through it. All the measurements from anywhere in the world to London, whether it's New York, Beijing, Oxford, all measurements go to Trafalgar Square, the distances. It's sort of the epicentre. Yeah, what can you say? But Trafalgar Square, you and all will come up on the left. Luckily it'll be gone soon, because on this plinth they change the sculpture every 6 months usually. There was something even more ridiculous before this. The best thing they did, the most imaginative thing, was about 3 years ago, where people stood on the plinth. You could apply, there was a lottery, I don't know how many thousand people. You got, I think it was an hour to stand there. Green's here tonight, I think that's what's happening. The whole world, it seems, is supporting England.
Yeah.
But they're possibly, no, that's a religious thing on the left, sorry. I mean, the World Cup is religious as well to many people. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a surrogate sort of religion. So that is actually a Christian. We will get better views later, but I'm going left, right, Strand, and then straight Fleet Street. We will later, when we loop back to the West End, pass the Parliament building. That's the one with Big Ben. You will get a passing glimpse of Big Ben down to the right in a moment. We will pass the building later. We will get better views later, but I'm going left, right, Strand, and then straight Fleet Street. We will later, when we loop back to the West End, pass the Parliament building. That's the one with Big Ben. You will get a passing glimpse of Big Ben down to the right in a moment. We will pass the building later. You were just pushed out of the booking. We're going left. Now you see the Australian flags on the right. Gringotts Bank is inside there. I'll tell you something about that later. I'm going to show you Second World War bomb damage. There's very little left in London, but the Royal Air Force Church of Britain is coming up on the right, St Clement Danes. We'll go just slow for a second. Watch the windows of the church. Look at the stone. You see lots of holes in the stone. That is shrapnel damage from the Second World War. Very rare today. Look to the left. A huge big fantasy building again. You'll see the name on the left and right of the entrance. The Royal Courts of Justice. Top criminal. It's quite the opposite. Civil law courts. Then, no traffic here. No road ahead by the looks of things. Yeah, we're going to just pass this monument. By doing so, we've taken a break. That is one of the few in town, Staples Inn. That's from early 1500s. What I will do is actually just stay on this, because that will take us to those bays. Angel Street, you know where the coach bays are on. Famous criminal law courts in the country. All the big, nasty, horrible, famous murders, etc. have all been tried there. There used to be a public gallows where the man is walking with the white bag down on the right. That's why there's a sort of space there today. It used to be where the public hangings took place. The Old Bailey on the right, a grim building. So by coming this way, you know, it's illegal. To the left, there's a more famous bridge called Tower Bridge. That is not London Bridge. This is. We're going to cross that. It's very high tide. We're going to cross that fairly soon. The river's flowing right to left. If you look back on the right in a moment, the dome of St Paul's Cathedral will appear after that modern office. Hopefully, yes. Between the towers of a railway station and an office. Yes, do you know where the old London Bridge is? Quite close to some of you.
Oh, he just told us and I forgot. Arizona.
Lake Havasu in Arizona. In the 1960s, the old bridge was being pulled down. It was decrepit. An American business corporation bought the bridge. It was the biggest antique in the world. They numbered every stone.
Yeah, oh, I'm just videoing.
They moved it to
Sorry.
Arizona.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Today it sits in a lake with buses go right
No,
on the
you're-
side of the river, as we'll see. It's called the Shard because of its shape. It's 1,000 foot high, 300 meters. That's the limit in this country. It's mostly office, although in the middle there's a luxury
Yeah.
hotel,
Okay.
I believe, which opened about a month ago.
I love
Like flowers everywhere. In the morning, big trucks go round watering them. You're often walking along the pavements early in the morning, wonder why they're wet. These vans, tanks go round if you hire the flowers, I presume. And, you know, it's arranged that they are watered. This is an area mostly leisure today. These are mostly old shipping buildings, docks, warehouses, that sort of thing. London was once the busiest of Arms. I rather like the statue. But the Shipwrights Arms on the right. There'll be a really weird statue coming up on the right of them.
Wow.
Look ahead, the bridge is in front of us. There'll be fabulous views ahead on the left of many strange shaped modern banking buildings. Look ahead to the left, weird shaped buildings. You see a building that looks like a bullet, we call it the Gherkin. The one on the left with cranes on the top we call the walkie-talkie. There's another building which is in the middle. It's a triangular building, not obvious from here. We call it the cheese grater. All the buildings get nicknames soon. The warship is on the left, the Belfast, who fired the first shots on D-Day. This is a very high tide. The sea is about 35 miles to the right, to the east. The middle of this bridge lifts up to let big ships come through. Doesn't happen at this point, exact point now. It doesn't happen much these days, about once a week. And the tallest building is back on the left now, good views of the Shard. There is a viewing platform at the top. I've never been up, it's the only place I know don't let guides go free. So I stubbornly refuse to go. Now then, more importantly, there's a castle coming up after the trees on the left-hand side. This is a very high tide. 7 meters up down. Look to the left, it's the Tower of London. Just after 1066,
Well, I can't see.
which is about 1,900 years before. The police recently have been stopping lots of cars on this road. They just do spot checks, insurance. It's surprising what they find. Guns, drugs, all sorts of things. Yeah, just spot checks they do occasionally, you know. But the Tower of London, never mind the police, just after 1066, which is not the year we won the World Cup, William the Conqueror built the middle bit where there's a flagpole and the little towers. The walls immediately on the left, 1300s. Again, I don't know what your plans are. The Tower of London is open to the public. The main exhibit, what people go there for, are the crown jewels, the royal bling. The crowns and the diamonds, etc., used at the coronations. Choir about 2 years ago, they went to sing to the High Commissioner and the bigwigs, and they showed us the desks where they filmed Gringotts, and they told us this great story that nobody had told a cleaner lady in there that they were filming. She was cleaning the bathrooms in the basement. Suddenly a toilet, Houses of Parliament. The palace, isn't it amazing? The Palace of Westminster.
Wow.
Notice one side of it is the river. Deliberate planning. If one side is the river, a crowd can never surround the building. Very prudent, very wise. Parliament looks older than it is. Look back on the eye, incidentally. Good view of the London Eye, back on the right. Parliament is late Victorian, mid-late Victorian. I might have said this earlier, but Victorian buildings tend to look older than they are. They built them in the spiky Gothic style. Church on the left, I think they have to pray more than everyone else. Then on the left will be Westminster Abbey. The big church on the left now, the Royal Church, the National Church, Westminster Abbey. I'll do the two, whatever it's called. If you saw William and Katie go into the church, their attractive sister, the entrance they went through is just back on the left now after the green coffee stall. That is the public exit today. But Westminster Abbey and the Royal Chapel in Windsor are the two important royal churches. Our early kings and queens, medieval ones, buried in the abbey. Well, we'll see them again, actually, by pure chance. Everything on the right is Buckingham Palace. Very low-key building. Two ways you can go in. One is where the group of people are on the right. There's some columns. It says the Queen's Gallery. That's a pay art gallery. The other way you can get in, the next building on the right has semicircular windows. It's the Royal Mews. Mews is an old word for stables. The horses in there will all be resting. The carriages will be packed away for another year probably. It is open to the public. I've never been in there. It's an incredible thing to admit. The official entrance to the royal stables is the gate on the right now. Buckingham Palace lacks a lot of privacy. There's a lot of buildings around it. Apparently the Queen much prefers to be at Windsor.
Isn't this where they all live now? All the royal...
The Queen... it's a funny one when you say where does the Queen live or where do the royals live. The Queen moves. I don't know exactly. I'd like to see a breakdown percentage myself of how much in Buckingham Palace, how much in Windsor. What dictates it is the royal year. Tomorrow and a few days she's at Ascot for horse racing, so she'll be at Windsor. If a state visit, she'll use Windsor. If she's just meeting ambassadors and things, it's usually here at Buckingham Palace. In the summer she goes to Balmoral in Scotland. Then Buckingham Palace is open for about 6 weeks to the public. It's not a patch on Windsor, the inside. Soho.
Yeah, I heard about
Soho's got a nice CD, you know, it's all
Yeah.
strip joints and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
I
really?
believe I'm told. No, all strippers are out on the bikes.
Yeah.
Who has to pay to come to Soho? You look to the right, guys. Getting our minds off that again.
We were the first ones looking to the left.
Chinatown. This is Shaftesbury Avenue. We're nearly, at this rate, the traffic, we thought this would be bad.